what is it about Pittsburgh that made you a DJ? Like, what's your connection to Pittsburgh? How did you stay here all these years?
The big fish in little pond. So perhaps that's what's kept me here throughout my almost 50 years.
Oof.
I'll be 50 in a little shy of 2 months. I know.
Happy birthday, man. That's
You
huge.
Can't tell by my poor posture and youthful face, but I will be 50 very shortly. What about Pittsburgh made me a DJ? I guess in a roundabout way we can answer that question. Pittsburgh made me a DJ by having a man by the name of Sly Jock and his radio show on Whammo. It was the first hip-hop show on a commercial radio station in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And it used to come on in the early 80s. Sunday night, like midnight to 4, you had to catch it. Super late night, I was 11, 12. So the next morning at Reisenstein, rest in power to Reisenstein Middle School in East Liberty, which is now Google. Yeah, you know.
Bakery Square, right?
Right, essentially.
Yeah.
Yep, that whole area. And
But you were from Squirrel Hill, not East Liberty. But that was where the radio station was?
no, that's where I went to middle school.
Ah.
Squirrel Hill kids went to Reisenstein or Colfax
Not
for middle school.
Middle school.
Mhm.
So did you go to Alderdice eventually?
I did
Okay.
years later, but this is when I was
11, 12.
6th grade or approaching there. Sly Jock was on the air, and my uncle used to work at Whammo. He was a sales rep at Whammo in his early 20s. He used to bring me home tapes from Sly Jock, not even the radio show tapes, but exclusive tapes that Sly made, just for staff and such. So
What was the music?
it was the first hip-hop show in Pittsburgh. So back then, it was songs like Nucleus, Jam on It.
Yep.
It was UTFO, Roxanne, Whistle, Just Buggin', Rappin' Duke. Man, that whole era of early 80s goodness.
Wow.
Houdini Friends, Fat Boys Stick'em, that era. So he made me two things. Super tired the next day at class. I was up until 4 a.m. And this is back in the days where we basically, if you didn't have a fancy boombox, you had to tape radio shows by holding up one of those black standalone tape decks with a built-in microphone
Okay.
and hold it up to the radio and record it that way. So that's the way I used to record his radio shows. I used to do a little trick where you
Sly
can...
Jock.
Sly Jock. Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
There was also like a legendary female radio host from Pittsburgh who did Motown. She was associated with Motown. She was shouted out in Barry Gordy's book. He talks about this
Oh,
female
really?
DJ.
It's probably a bit before
radio
my
host,
time, but I'm
1940s.
sure. Oh, yeah. So that was...
She was like the first female, one of the first like
it could have been Whammo, too. Whammo has
female
been around for
DJs.
years. So Porky Chedwick was big on Whammo back in the days. He was a white DJ on Whammo, and Pork the Torque is what they called him, and he was responsible for playing a lot of the early soul records on Whammo.
Why didn't
back
you
then.
get like I guess you did some college radio, but like were you big into commercial radio or was that not
I
the
was
main
not.
thing?
Yeah, I did radio at Pitt, and I wasn't a student. I did radio there when I was 15. So
Is that when you met Bonix or no?
when I was 15, no, Bonix is
like
alive.
when you
I was
were
still
at PTS.
I was still there. There was residual hanging out there later on in life. But when I first started, my mom used to let's backtrack a little bit. Whammo, taping shows. We used to be able to record over tapes that were pre-bought from the store by putting. I don't know if you're familiar with this. You can put two pieces of like paper in the holes on top of a cassette.
Yeah.
And then
We
you
used to
can- you
use
can record
Scotch
it.
tape.
That's one way to do
But
it
yeah.
too. So we used to do that, and we used to make pause tapes. I don't know how often you did that as a Ute.
No pause tape.
Pause tapes. Your viewers, listeners,
Both.
audio visual goodness, probably know what pause tapes are. Is you would tape a radio show, and you would stop it at a certain point, and then when your jam comes on, you would hit record again at a certain point, and it would just be like a seamless mixtape, but created simply by hitting pause in between each recording. So it would just be a fluid mix, your own little mix, by recording your favorite songs at the right spots to keep them going. But yeah, then Whammo, there was a guy by the name of JJ. He used to do the Hot 8 at 8. I would call there. I had an unfortunate name.
This is before Selecta.
Before Selecta. Did you know this name?
No.
Oh, man.
It's bad?
It's bad. Especially being a young Jewish man like I am. I wasn't familiar with the origin of this name.
Uh-oh.
And, I'm clearly white, so why not be DJ White Knight? Lord have mercy, did I not know until years later that is
the old Woodrow Wilson?
Yeah, that's the highest, one of the highest
echelons.
KKK, yeah.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I got that. Wow.
Yeah, but early on I was White Knight.
White Knight. But it's a good, it's like a rhyming phrase.
Right, exactly.
I'm sure you weren't like intending anything by it.
White Knights. There was a movie called White Knights.
Knights in White Satin.
I don't know who the Cardigans are.
Do you not know the Moody Blues either?
That's an inside joke, people. It happened about 20 minutes ago. I love Cardigans. Word to Fred Rogers, Pittsburgh's very own. Moody Blues, I do.
Yeah.
Where were we getting at?
That's my mom's favorite. We were talking about the mixtapes, and
you
had just gotten your first DJ name.
Correct.
For what, though? Like, what were you doing at the time to deserve a DJ name? You were on the radio at PTS?
Correct. And my mom used to drive me there when I was 14, 15. I don't know why they
let you do it.
Let me do it.
It was like a community show.
I would call it. No, I would call and bug them, just like I would call JJ and Whammo, and I would read the Hot 8 at 8. It's something that listeners could do back in the day.
Yeah.
As a guest DJ. So I would listen to WPTS, and these are college students. And I would just call and call and call till they said, you know what, if you want to come down and hang out and be an intern and help us out, you're more than welcome to. They respected my knowledge. So I was essentially doing radio at 15 at WPTS, and that's where I met Mel Plowden, rest in peace, who started the hip-hop program at the University of Pittsburgh, WPTS. He was in the movie Rappin'. Horrible movie shot in Pittsburgh, directed by, I believe, Mario Van Peebles. But, he gave birth to, Mel Plowden gave birth to hip-hop college radio, and PTS used to beat out Whammo. I would answer the calls, and we would have a sheet with the demo, where you're calling from, the age,
wow,
gender, and we would fill this out, and we would have sheets and sheets and sheets at the end of the night. And
wow.
These are late night programs from like 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. And it was an amazing time. This is pre videos, really.
They were still broadcasting off the top of the cathedral.
They were. So they were still at 98.5 as opposed to 92.1 where they are now.
Yeah.
So they were strong. They were in the commercial radio band. And, they still broadcasted after at the cathedral when they moved to 92.1, but they're in a non-commercial radio band, which is a little more cluttered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met some cool people when I was there. I got brought on by MH, the Verb, who also took me to Shadow Lounge, where I met somebody else who initially had another Jewish Squirrel Hill white person who initially had a bad name, the Mac and Cheese, right? Wasn't that Mac Miller's first name? Mac and Cheese.
I don't know about the cheese part.
Mac and Cheese, yeah.
Really?
Cheesy Mac, something like that. Cheesy Mac.
Cheesy Mac or Easy Mac.
Easy Mac?
Easy Mac. Wasn't Mac and Cheese.
Sure. Yeah, maybe Easy Mac.
Okay.
So, the Shadow Lounge. But at PTS, I remember meeting someone. I wanted to ask you what his name was. I knew you would know because he made the most incredible impression on me as a DJ. It was a rap crew, and I think it could have been Masai.
Strict Flow, Masai Turner.
Yeah. So was there like a black DJ with them at one point? Because I know Edan also DJ'd for them.
I DJ'd for them on a few cuts.
Okay.
Back then, and then Edan, and then my cousin Chaglick, CLG, was in Strict Flow.
Yep.
And
oh wow.
Yeah, and Saeed.
So was Saeed the DJ?
He was another MC. He was.
Yeah. So who was the DJ that I saw? What I remember was like I was super tight about letting him touch the turntables, which were probably PTS's anyway.
Right.
And he's like, okay, young whippersnapper. And all of a sudden, he just starts like pulling off the counterweights, flipping them around.
Oh, I mean,
it out.
I don't know who it was. I mean,
the juggling was insane.
It was probably Super C.
Super C. Thank you.
Yeah,
See,
he wasn't their DJ.
I knew you would know.
But he was probably with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Incredible.
Oh yeah.
Juggling.
He's he no longer lives here, but he is a good friend. His name is, I'm not going to give out his government name, but yeah, he was him and Double K were our turntablists from back in those days.
Interesting.
Yeah. Double K used to DJ for Melman in a group called Hardcore Incorporated from the Hill.
Which is a different Double K than the San Francisco
correct
MC,
a much older
producer.
Double K. Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. So, who did you find after the first jock that like introduced you to music? Like, who taught you about DJing?
No one physically taught me about DJing. I've learned just via osmosis. Super C is one person I used to watch, and he's a little younger than me, but I believe he started before I did. So no, I just came up watching cats play, and now I get asked if I can give DJ lessons a lot, and I never received any. It all just came to me, and I've learned over the years, and I'm still learning. I've never wanted to be a turntablist. I always wanted to maximize the money I had to spend on records. I would rather buy 2 different records than 2 of the same record.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
So back then,
you bought this doubles.
You had to buy doubles, yeah, and I had
you didn't have the loot,
no desire nor the money.
Yeah. So you became like the tastemaker kind of dude.
Correct, and I've always been. Hence the name Selecta. It has Jamaican patois etymology, but it just means someone that selects the jams.
Yeah, the Selecta. I mean, Selecta is every DJ in Jamaica.
Correct. Right. And the DJ is the MC.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Or like
Toastmaster. Toastmaster is a
toasting is the rapping.
Toasting is the Look at us. 2 Judaic men, 2 Judaic scholars talking about Jamaican culture. Like
who your teachers were.
Who my teachers were, and I didn't have any. I didn't have any hands-on instruction. I just had all bearing witness to and going to events, and I was a radio guy before anything else. So really, it came from watching the masters at their trade, radio disc jockeys, and then I parlayed my love for radio into DJing in not necessarily clubs, but bars and poetry slams. And I'm not a bottle service club person, as you could tell. It was never my thing. So I just learned by watching the greats, and I was around when hip hop DJing was at its infamousy. So infamousy, is that the right
infancy?
Word? Infamousy would be me, the infamous Selecta. I feel like Nori now, getting words wrong. I feel like this is Drink Champs, and I'm about to say I synced it. So I never had anyone say this is how you mix a record and this is how you transition from A to B, because it was more so just me playing from the heart. And what I learned first is how to mix, and then came the basic cuts. And as long as you have the foundation down, you can rock a party. I think rocking a party is the most important part of DJing, because no one wants to go to a party and hear someone cutting it up for hours on end. So learning how to mix.
What do you mean by cutting it up?
Just going back and forth and getting crazy turntablism-y.
Too much scratching,
right?
Too much
Right. Yeah, it's just it's
mixing.
There's no mixing is fine. There's a time and a place to you don't want to go
quick mixing.
Quick mixing is fine too. Although there's a certain subset of folks that get upset if you cut off their jam too early. It's an age thing. We could quick mix when we were younger. Now when I play for people my age or older,
they want to hear the second verse.
They want to hear the third and fourth. They want to hear the outro.
Ooh.
There are certain songs I don't even like. Prince Kiss, I couldn't even tell you how it ended prior to a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Especially on Twitch now, people want to hear. I have a channel point to let songs breathe.
Yep. They have. Yeah. They can pay money to hear the end of the song.
Fake money to hear that in the song.
But it's real money.
It's monopoly money.
But it costs money to buy it.
It doesn't. It costs engagement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, channel points in Twitch. We're jumping all over the place, but I'm a Twitch DJ. Hey, my name is Selecta. I DJ on Twitch.
His Twitch is incredible. The thing has truly it's been like a phenomenon.
Oh yeah, I mean it's saved my DJ life, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, letting songs breathe. But no one wants to go to a club or a bar or any sort of shindig and watch a DJ cut it up and bring back every song. We call it coast to coast in Pittsburgh. Keep bringing the records back.
Oh, interesting.
Some people call it beat juggling, but it's not really juggling when you're just bringing it back to the same part. It's
or
more
a pull up. A pull up would
Or
be
pull-
more Jamaican.
right, the whole song. But if you bring it back in a rapid manner, you would coast to coast. That's
Okay.
what we call from coast.
But
to
you couldn't
coast.
afford to do that because you didn't have 2 copies.
Correct. I had 2 copies of very few records. Even still to this day, I have doubles of very few.
You'd
More
sell
so.
them at the record store if you had an extra
And
one.
I had a record store too. Man, we're jumping all over the place. Twitch, record store. I have a hairy back.
We're trying to hit all
let's see.
the high points here.
Ladies, sorry, I have a hairy back.
Did you think about doing anything else other than DJing? Were you like, this is the deal? Like, I'm gonna be a DJ.
I got a job. So yeah, I was working for AT&T for 13 years, and while I was DJing, while I was on the radio. So early on in AT&T, I was taking phone calls. Thank you for calling AT&T. My name is James. How can I help you? And customers were like, James, you sound like you should be on the radio. I'm like, yeah, I just left the radio station. I'm just talking to your ass right now. But yeah, radio was, like I said, was my first love. So I always knew I was going to do that. And while I was working at AT&T, I also played at venues like the Shadow Lounge. Rest in power.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Club Havana in Shadyside. Also R.I.P. The Laga, Club Laga in Oakland.
Also rest in
R.I.P.
peace.
Wow.
So Club Havana was the one that Basic, one of my best friends from Pittsburgh, wanted me to ask you about. He said there was a Shadyside spot. He couldn't remember the name that Selecta was associated with, and he was wondering like what the story was.
On Ellsworth. There's a club called Havana. It was called Club Havana. It was a bar. Right on Ellsworth, as soon as you turn from Shady onto Ellsworth, there was another off of Walnut. There was a place called the Pittsburgh Deli Company.
Yep. He said something about sandwiches.
Well, that's one. It was happening there too. It was dope. But Havana was more
The
so.
deli company was the one that had Ulta upstairs for a little bit.
Correct.
That I used to
Right.
DJ at. Yeah.
Yeah, Havana now I think is, I don't know what it is now. Maybe Spin. I think it's a gay bar now, possibly.
Oh,
but
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I remember when they did Spin.
Right.
I used to DJ at 50 at 01.
Well,
I remember Spin was like
there
the
you go, right.
competition. But I never played there.
But Havana was insane. Yeah, it would just be
Was it a cool
sweaty
spot?
windows. Oh yeah, it was it was a Cuban based bar.
Nice.
As far as the aesthetic is concerned, and just used to get crazy in there. Just the windows, foggy, sweaty.
College scene or like more grown?
Yeah, a combo meal of both.
Yep.
But hip hop, house.
Was it like Firehouse vibes?
It was an international vibe. It was multicultural for
That's
sure.
always what I felt on the deck at Firehouse.
Yeah, I used to play there too. We used to have to climb up.
I remember.
At Laga and at Firehouse, they would make us climb up this ladder
I remember.
with vinyl.
I remember.
With
climbing
vinyl.
it. I had to climb it with Bonix, and I was holding the speaker.
Yeah,
This was the moment I knew I was going to be a DJ.
right.
Because when you would climb that ladder, it was like a metal ladder up
Right.
like a fire escape
Yeah,
almost.
It was
And you
insane.
would climb it. It was raining, and it was slick, like real slick. And I'm climbing it with the booth
Well,
monitor.
you're talking about outside though. I'm talking
Outside
about
to the deck.
There's also a booth inside a Firehouse.
And there's a
same
tent.
thing.
I know the booth on the like hardwood floor you're
Correct.
talking about. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah. That's where I fucked. That was like one of the times I really dropped the ball at the party bad. But there's plenty of those stories.
You need to step up your R&B game.
No, that time it was more like reggae. It was more
Okay.
like I needed. I should have known more like dance hall,
Right.
like just like dance hall standards, like Murder She Wrote.
That's all right. Also, Foxy Brown, Sorry.
Would have been a good one.
Sister Nancy, Bomb Bomb.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good one.
Plenty
of
Action,
options.
Terra Fabulous.
Eminem was a bad choice.
It was a bad choice for a reggae night.
Yeah,
he's
in
not-
hindsight.
correct. Yeah.
But Bonix was real sick or something. He put me
Okay.
in, and it was just people were upset. Anyway, the story from the outside booth was that it was raining. and
Oh yeah,
there
it was
this,
like it was dangerous out there.
terrible. But there was this like tent that was set up all the way around the outside so that people could dance on the deck.
Right. No, I recall.
And as I opened the the flap of the tent and I entered it with my monitor, it was like I'd been transported into a different planet. Like it was hot and sweaty, and you could feel this incredible energy all around of all these people moving and like feeling
it was that scene. It was. I mean, Pittsburgh's not known for being multicultural. So Pittsburgh is black or white, depending on the venue you go to. All white or all black. But back then, it was multicultural. Shadow Lounge was like that too. Havana was like that too. And the energy is just like kinetic. It's
I just
it
knew
engulfs
that's what I
you. It
wanted.
engulfs you, right?
I knew that's what I wanted to do.
And that's why you became a doctor.
Well, I tried.
Right.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
Look at me. So what comes next? So you were doing both.
I was doing both until I got laid off in 2013. So I was down and out, like, man, what am I gonna do now? But meanwhile, it was a blessing in disguise, because since 2013, it's now been a decade. I haven't worked a 9 to 5 a single day since 2013.
Hey,
L'chaim.
L'chaim, brother.
We don't have alcohol, but I don't drink.
No,
that's why I look so. Yeah,
it's la vie.
La vie.
La vie en rose. La vie en rose.
So it's been 10 years, my anniversary
incredible, brother.
of getting laid off from American Telegraph and Telephone.
Thank you to whoever laid you off. Good job.
Joe Schmo.
Well, I mean, thank God. Like,
blessing in disguise.
Pittsburgh needs you. That's great. Right. So I guess the years that I would have been seeing you at Shadow Lounge, it would have been when I lived here last, from like 2005 to 2000.
Right, they shuttered in 2013 is when they closed.
Yeah, I left in 2011.
And my record store was right across the street. Well, over 720 was on Penn Avenue.
Yep.
And Shadow Lounge was on Baum, right?
Were there two locations for 720 or no?
We began in 1998.
Yeah.
In Oakland, above GNC.
Yeah.
And Hypervinyl was in there. We were there for a year, and then we moved to East Liberty.
Yep. So 3 locations.
Well, no, East Liberty. So 7 years in East Liberty. Then we moved to Jerry's Records inside of Jerry's for 2 years.
Yeah.
Where the 78s now reside, I believe. Well, no, it's no longer 78s. Where the CDs now reside.
Okay.
And then we moved to Lawrenceville.
Were you the secret buyer that was going to buy up Jerry's Records?
That was me. No.
So that's the number 4.
Number 4, Lawrenceville, 2011.
That's where I saw you. Was
2011 to 2015 with my business partners.
When you first opened, I was
Nate and Andrew Berger.
I left in 2011.
And Nate's wife, rest in power, Javon, and my brother Paul Dang was part of that too. And then, speaking of Paul Dang, for a year after that closed, we opened up for a little less than a year inside of a barbershop in Lawrenceville.
You never really talked about
Graham's Barbershop.
Why you wanted to start a record store. I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious. Like, you had a ton of records.
Yeah, I mean, Stedford
needed money.
Right? Well, no, Stedford's had a little independent hip hop section that I used to work at Stedford's. Rest in power again. Legendary record store for many, many moons on the north side on East Ohio Street. So we didn't have a hip-hop shop. You know, in 98, hip-hop DJing, 12 inches were large. Raucous Records just came out. So
Fat Beats?
Fat Beats, yeah, that was our distro. So basically, we wanted to be the Fat Beats of Pittsburgh. We bought records from them.
Stedford's.
Stedford's was the name of the shop.
Yep.
That I brought in some independent hip-hop, but it was still more so just like a mom-and-pop record shop. They didn't cater to DJs. Now you could go in there and buy needles.
Right. You weren't getting your M447s.
Yeah, you couldn't buy, spray paint and caps and everything for the culture.
Yeah.
It was very much just a record store. So we wanted to do a whole hip-hop shop in Pittsburgh. So I teamed up with my friend Brian Protho and Paul Constantinides, a black man, a Greek man, a Jewish man.
Walk into a bar, walk into a record store.
And in East Liberty, I was partners with my ex. Her name was Meg Fitzgerald, and we did the East Liberty iteration of 720 Records together after we left Oakland. And, and then Jerry's, and then Lawrenceville. And records, mind you, this was before Record Store Day was new. So I think if we held on to the business now, it'd be booming. Lawrenceville doesn't have a record. Well, Lawrenceville does have a record store, but it's way up on like 54th. It's called Long Play Cafe. But Now records are all the rage. They were becoming so back then. Again, the resurgence of the collector's market. But
Right, NFTs and owning something tangible, like
Correct.
the idea of having a one of one or a one of
Right.
100 or whatever. What'd you do with all your records? You just have them now?
we sold a lot of them.
I saw you were finding your records like at other record stores in Detroit. And
No,
whatnot.
that was here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that would be funny to find in Detroit. And that was at the attic in the 12-inch room.
Okay.
That was just recently. But no, I do stumble upon at Jerry's all the time, 720 price tags, and
Yeah.
they're out there.
Do you
So,
miss it?
Do I miss owning a business? No, it wasn't very profitable. Our last iteration was a record store, coffee shop, venue, vintage clothing store.
That's the one I went to.
Right, 2011 to 2015. That was great fun, but we got in there 2011, Lawrenceville.
It's dead. It wasn't.
Right, so rent was cheap. 2015, a whole different story.
Yeah.
2023, I couldn't even imagine our space. We paid $1,000 a month for like 1,500 square feet, maybe a little less. I can imagine it's 3,500, 4,000.
I was thinking
Easily.
7. Yeah.
No, not 7.
That's
We haven't quite reached that.
35 would be
Mhm.
that'd be hard to pull selling plastic discs.
And coffee.
Yeah, coffee. There's not
Right.
like a ton of profit
Right.
margin on that.
Right. So that's how we got out. And I'm a much happier man now.
What about before Twitch though? From 2015 selling the business until 2020
Right.
stumbling upon Twitch.
Yeah, I was just playing at local spots.
Weddings and-
weddings, unfortunately. I'm not a big fan, but
Oh, hate them. The worst.
that's
But $3,000 is $3,000.
I didn't charge that much, but I think people would balk at 3,000.
That's why I charge that much. I don't
Right.
want to do it.
Exactly. That's a good tactic to get around having to say no. So yeah, I played at Galaxy in Homewood, Young Brothers on the north side on Woods Run. Where else did I have? Goldmark, which I still play to this day.
You have like a standing party, or you kind of hop on other people's joints?
A standard party at Goldmark, the second Thursday of every month. And then we have a crew, me and Big
Which
Phil.
is which one?
Groove Theory.
That's right.
Me and Big Phil and Black Steel, and Yamez and my brother Keegan. And
Yamez is amazing. That guy
Yamez
was
is
he
great.
was out in New York when I was there,
Killing it,
and
killing it.
he's a really really
talk
good
about
DJ.
turntablists.
Very very good turntablist.
Insane.
Somebody who
Yeah.
could teach me a
Yeah.
lot. I gotta
Yes.
track him down.
Get
him to
get,
up
get
here
him
to
for
teach
the
me some stuff. Yeah.
two click flares, not me. So we have our crew union, and we do parties at now 3 different venues at the Brilla Box in Bloomfield / Lawrenceville. I don't know what neighborhood you call that. And then in Lawrenceville, the Thunderbird, and now at Casa Brazil in Highland Park. So that's what I was doing. We're rocking with our crew, me, the original 3-man crew of Big Phil, Black Steel, and myself, and now it's branched out to like seven or 8 folks in the union. Massive. So prior to 2020, 2 things. I didn't talk on this thing ever. So when you saw me out,
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So like I never thought of you as the talking guy.
no.
Because now you're telling me like you have all this radio history, and I'm like, oh yeah, like your voice is really solid. You're like people
Thank
would
you.
hear me on the radio. People would hear me at AT&T and be like, you belong on the radio.
Yeah, because the radio.
But you never talked when you were DJing when I would see you out.
Because
as Shadow
I'm
and
not all the
everything.
ladies in the house say.
Yeah.
I'm not a.
You're not
you
Kid
know,
Capri.
I'm not
You're
at all. Kid Capri does verbal,
Yeah.
vocal transitions.
Even Premiere.
Even
talks a
Primo,
lot.
yeah. Which that was never my thing. I'm coming from radio. I was behind the scenes.
Right.
I never wanted to be the forefront. Therefore, I didn't want to draw attention to myself, so I didn't talk on the mic. But on the radio, no one can see you. You're talking. You're giving information. You're running back records you played during the last segment. But when it came time for Twitch, I was nervous. I don't like cameras. I don't like talking on the mic. But how am I going to win folks over just by DJing? I need to engage with them. So, I first started out on Facebook, and then
Why though? Like where did you get the idea? Like what happened?
peer pressure.
From who?
So, well, the week after the pandemic hit,
This is 2020 March.
March.
Yep.
Folks were going live,
D Nice was the first
Right,
one.
but because of that, there was this Club Rona. Okay, so Club Rona, all these DJs that are now homebound.
Yeah.
Not out of choice, but out of these spots are closed. So where's Selecta? All these other DJs are going live. Where's Selecta?
So it really happened because I was in the South during all this. I never really experienced the shuttering, but I think it's important to hear that the businesses here closed. So when I talked to Nugget about it, he was like, "Yeah, they wouldn't let me open. They closed the doors. They literally
unlike folks down south.
Yeah, no, there were places where nothing changed.
Right.
Like in Florida and South Carolina, where I was.
They ultimately changed, but initially they did not.
Well, no, the businesses never closed.
Period.
Ever.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought ultimately everyone had to follow the same rules of, well, I guess it was up to the respective communities. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there was that 2 weeks to slow the spread.
Right.
And then it became 2 months and 2 years.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what happened. So venues closed, so we had no other choice.
Okay. Because he told me there were capacity limits. That was the first thing.
That came later. Yeah, it was
nothing. And then he was like, they would let me rock, but it would be 64 people
and
or something.
And that's a stretch right there. Right.
What are you talking about? You can't run a business like that. He's like, yeah. So we would do private parties. I'm like, it's incredible how people shifted in order to deal with extreme times. That's what I think is interesting. So that's what I want to hear about. Is
that's what happened. Yeah, my gigs were gone. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent.
Yeah,
my rent. I own a house. My mortgage. I own a house since 2005 in Lawrenceville.
Good job.
My mortgage is like a rent. It's so anyway.
Yeah,
so cheap
until it's gone.
Yeah,
until you're done paying it.
Exactly.
And then you have to pay taxes.
Ugh. So where's Selecta in all this? Where's Selecta? We want to see Selecta.
People wanted to know.
But
you had
Selecta
the hometown crowd.
Right, but Selecta doesn't have a camera. Selecta doesn't have a way to get the audio out of the mixer into the phone. So the first time I went live, it was peer pressure. I got convinced by someone made a post on Facebook and don't we want to hear Selecta go live? 1,000 people responded, I think.
Wow.
So I went live and I got sponsored by Jake Wheatley, who was running for some political office at that point. He sponsored me. He paid me.
Oh, cool.
Paid me like $100 to go on. So that was my motivation.
Now you have somebody else. I hate interrupting, but now another one of your friends,
Kahari Mosley, he's running for city council.
We'll get there though. Don't let me.
He's the rapper on the
that.
DJ.
Yeah, I want to know about that. But this is the other friend who's putting you on Twitch or sponsoring. You on Twitch.
So so putting it out there, sending it to his folks. And Selecta's going to be on. I'm on a Mexican radio. I don't know what that means.
What? I just got back from Mexico. It's amazing there.
There you go.
A lot of seaweed, though. A lot of seaweed in Tulum.
Just don't get it in your feet. You're good.
Well, it gets everywhere if you swim in the ocean. You find it in your pockets, your bathing suit and everything.
So lint and seaweed.
Yeah, well, it's hard to tell what's what.
To discern the difference. Right, okay. Where's Selecta? So Selecta came on, but you know how Selecta rocked the first time?
Right into the phone?
No, not even that.
Just the phone was recording.
Correct.
Yeah,
the ambient
volume.
Yeah, which is, I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But that first night that I rocked had probably 1,500 people watching.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's a good.
I played for 6 or 7 hours, made about $5,000 in tips.
Whoa.
That first night, which I thought would be the standard, but it was not.
So that was just straight to your Venmo,
PayPal,
your
Cash App, Venmo,
whatever. Yeah.
IRS, if you're listening.
Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening, right? Not to the croc mode. Yeah. So. Yeah, it was crazy. I woke up the next morning and it was so freaking surreal.
Yep.
To get, message after message. Oh my goodness. You gave me life. Thank you so much. Heartfelt messages that accompanied these tips.
Well, you were playing the same type of music you play now. You played neo soul and R&B.
But not only that, I was, playing music that I don't get to play for a dance floor.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the
Which
luxury
is-
of playing on social media, is that
Yeah.
you're not tied down to the constraints of a dance floor where you have to keep a certain BPM. You can zigzag, you can be non sequitur with your music because you have people that are listening as opposed to dancing. Yeah, you could be dancing Tom Cruise risky business style in the kitchen with underwear on, but
Do you
yeah.
ever hear of the subgenre IDM, intelligent dance music?
Yeah.
That's how I see this going.
Okay.
It's intelligent hip hop because you don't have to worry about whether or not people are dancing. You can go a little bit more cerebral.
Yeah, I this is gonna sound odd because I'm a DJ and my job is to make people dance.
Yeah.
I hate playing for dance floors. I hate it.
Really?
I hate it because you're playing the same subset of 75 to 100 party rockers.
Yeah.
Because familiarity is going to aid. Familiarity is going to bring folks to the dance floor. And like you can play, you can't break a record. Most crowds want to hear what they know so they can sing along. Dance music crowds, a little different. House music, they dance to the overall groove and BPM. But if you're dealing with people that just go out on a casual basis, maybe not necessarily music lovers, like deep music lovers, they're going to dance to only songs that are extreme party rockers, just like at a wedding.
Is it
Extreme
different
party
at these Twitch meetup things that you're DJing now?
Yeah, I don't DJ a lot of Twitch.
You know what I'm talking
I've
about, like,
attended some,
The
but
the shows that you're getting to play now that you're leaving Pittsburgh after all these years because of the Twitch following,
it can
are
be
these
different.
crowds different, or
It
it's
can be
the
different depending on what the setting is. I'm getting gigs because of Twitch that are still kind of standard parties. I just did a party for Dropbox recently that I didn't that I didn't go completely out of the box with my selections, but
You mean that you didn't pull the files up from your Dropbox in order to play them?
that too. Word to Dropbox. No, I got to play like a meet and greet for employees around the country of Dropbox.
That's cool.
And the CEO, he's worth a couple billion, spoke right in front of me, and
Wow.
when he was done speaking, I played
Let me
Drop It Like It's Hot.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
All right. I was gonna guess. I was
Yeah.
gonna say like
Drop.
it's all about the Benjamins or
But why not
money,
play
money,
something
money,
with Drop in it?
money. Oh, OJ's.
OJ.
We're still like transitioning to Twitch, so you're just getting used to this technology. and
Yeah,
then
I mean,
eventually you had a good party, but then things slowed down. Right.
a good party pre-Twitch.
That first, the 5,000 people.
Oh, a good
1,500 people
good
watched
outing.
$5,000.
No, it was great for the first month because I would, I eventually got the cable to go from,
Okay.
eighth inch out to, or to TRS, whatever the quarter inch out to your phone, lightning, whatever it was back then. I don't know if it was quite lightning yet. Was it eighth inch? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was the plug for the audio.
Yeah.
The iRig is what the device was called. We didn't know about interfaces unless you made music and you had a studio.
You
That's
never
it.
really like made beats like that?
No, I didn't. So I didn't have an interface. So
Did you ever mess with like MPCs and things, or you
I
just
had
never
zero
really
desire
cared?
to make beats. No.
You weren't super musical, like you didn't play keys, you didn't
Not
play
at all.
guitar,
Not at
bass,
all.
drums.
I had a
nothing.
Casio keyboard with 4 little sample pads that sampled 2 seconds. You had to speed up the sample to get
Yeah.
it longer. But no, I was never. I'm the anomaly. I'm a DJ who could care less about producing. I could care less about even all of this cue points and doing a cappella blends, because as a DJ, I always thought my job was to move fluidly between songs. I'm not creating on the decks.
Mm.
I'm moving fluidly between songs. And if you've heard me play, you have, but they maybe have not.
But you should.
Transitions are what I'm known for.
Well, I would say it's music selection. I mean, the transitions are amazing, but that's not like the reason that I'm fascinated. It's that you have records that I haven't heard before that I want to know what they are.
Right. I mean, but you
have deep crates.
Not everyone thinks like you.
Uh,
So, if I make a post, people are going to immediately say, yeah, you're the master of transitions.
Huh.
Because not everyone is interested in being exposed to new music.
So how did you perfect that art or that craft, the transition piece? That was just a lot of hours, just DJing.
Yeah, I mean, I think just watching DJs in other genres like house music DJs. I see a lot of DJs still mixing with the crossfade, which it's not really as.
Oh no,
So,
no.
yeah, but
that's
that's the
not
thing.
hip hop.
That is hip hop.
No.
That is hip-hop
No,
mixing with the
because
crossfade.
hip hop should have like instant 100% on,
Right,
so that you can cut.
but that's how we mixed early on. We did. We
you
did
would
early
you
on
would have like
with the
75%,
crossfade.
50%,
With the
25%.
crossfade, yeah, because we weren't really cutting. So now from house music, I learned how to turn the EQ down when I'm bringing the next circuit in to drop out
Kill the bass.
the bass. But we never did that. Early mixers that we had, the Realistic, the Gemini, didn't even have EQ. Didn't even have a mic input. It was just 2 channels and a crossfade. Period. Like Realistic, Radio Shack brand. That was my first mixer that had a crossfader that clicked in the middle. And I had Realistic turntables. This is backtracking a bit, where we didn't have pitch controls. Well, I couldn't afford turntables with pitch controls when I was young. So I had a belt drive Realistic turntable ×2. And you would have to hold the spindle to mix to slow it down, and then let go.
Yeah.
Let go when
I
you're done.
I still see people doing that, holding the spindle to like adjust the.
But you had to hold it.
But that was the only way to do it.
Yeah, a little more firm to slow it down.
Like I feel like I still probably do that occasionally, just a little.
Yeah, or nudge the record.
friction.
Not everyone can ride the pitch, so that's an art in unto itself. But
When I was living in Michigan, I always had like older friends, and this one cat was like really brilliant Michigan student. I used to go over to his place, and I won't say what the main reason I would go over there was, but anyway, he was a music junkie, music head. He told me something, and I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but I believe it. And the idea is that the curve for the pitch is separate from the curve for the speed, meaning that as you increase the speed that the 2 records are playing by the same amount, so if they're not on the correct pitch, but you increase both by 1% or 2%, you can get them into the correct pitch. If they're both at 2% and you increase them to 4%, you could potentially get them to the correct pitch there. So it's like a sinusoidal curve.
it's a little too heady for me.
Yeah.
But
Crazy though, right?
yeah. I'm not one that can ride the pitch, so I'm constantly nudging the platter to slow it down. That's a whole other art, mainly used by DJs in other genres who also rock traditional style and not how you have battle style.
Not in the battle.
They rock Grandmaster Flash traditional style and not battle style. So the pitch is right there for them to rock. The pitch here,
It's harder to get to.
yeah, because the needle's in the way.
So how did Twitch become lucrative? Like, how did you figure it out? What broke it open?
Yeah, I mean, getting kicked off on Facebook, nowhere else to go. I kept hearing Twitch, gamers for gamers. What am I gonna do there? And it wasn't plug and play. Like I could plug my phone in, open up Facebook on my phone,
Yeah.
and hit stream. It was OBS, and what is OBS? Open Broadcast System. What is it? I have to learn something else now? Who's gonna teach me? So my brother DJ Strobe, who lives in Canada, got on the phone with me a couple days and walked me through step by step on how to use OBS. And I think within a week I was good to go and started playing on Twitch for about 15 people for the first month or so.
Yep.
And I made partner within a couple months on Twitch, and partner just means that you're kind of the shit. You are the creme de la creme of Twitch streamers, and I made that pretty quickly. A lot of my peers got denied a handful of times. I sent my app in. You have to have 75 viewers average, and even then they can deny your application because these 75 viewers, to count as one viewer, they have to stick around for 1 hour. So it's not like you can go in and go out. So I'm like, damn, how am I going to get 75 independent people to stick around for an hour?
Yep.
It's not like I can have 75 people watching one stream and I'm partner. You have to stick around to count as one viewer. So never thought I could do it because I never even had, initially more than 75 people, period, throughout the whole stream. Now I have, 350, and now I have 16, almost 17,000 followers later.
Ooh.
And about 1,200 people that sub. That means they pay $5 every month to watch me ad free and to get to use my emotes and other perks of subscription.
That's a living.
It's a living if
1,200 subs.
if they maintain their
Yeah.
memberships. So some of them are gift subs. That's another way that people can show love. They can give out gift subs to random viewers, or you can handpick who you're giving it to. So, in theory, I don't really have $1,300 a month that stay consistently, because people that are giving gift subs very rarely resubscribe for the following month. But that is a living, and Twitch has been a living for me, coupled with in-person gigs. It's been a great one. So I'm very thankful for Twitch. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you.
Oh, Twitch is Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon owns Twitch.
Wow.
It was Jason TV when it first started.
Wow.
And they acquired Jason TV.
They need to streamline. Overall, like Amazon, I think they're a good company, but they have too much stuff. They need to hone it down. Twitch they keep, obviously.
Right.
But like some of the other stuff they're doing, they got to cinch it up. Cinch the waist. Fire a couple 10, 20, 30, 40,000 people, and the stock will start going up again.
Yeah, I own Amazon stock. That's right. With that split.
Sucks, right?
Yeah, I bought it. Sucks.
Yeah, me too. 98,
98,
97, 95,
So, yeah.
garbage.
That's another podcast.
That's fine. There's all different people listening.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah, so...
The better stock is the AgCo, which I like, and McDonald's. Love McDonald's. Huge beef buyer. My thing, I want to invest in...
Is that beef that they serve?
It is, and it's delicious.
Fun fact. The last McDonald's in downtown Pittsburgh is closing. I just read that today.
Oh, you're talking about
People
the
are up in
McDonald's
arms.
that I took my kid to after we went to the Pitt football game? Like right
guess
there
so.
at the park?
Yeah.
Like at the point?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, people would be really upset. It's terrible. I mean, it's a terrible McDonald's. There's no seating.
Correct.
It's filthy. No bathroom.
I don't understand the whole lore of McDonald's. Every time I fly out from Pittsburgh International, there's McDonald's that's open when I fly out at like 6 a.m.
Yep.
And then there's the great mom and pop spot where you can get fresh eggs and breakfast sandwich, like you can see them cooking on the griddle. Like it looks amazing.
It's the consistency.
And the line is crazy at McDonald's. And I'm getting fresh eggs and home fries.
But let me
that's
tell you
being
why.
cooked in real time. I'm like, you people are sheep.
I don't know. Here's the reason is that if you know what you're going to get, if you know what to expect, it's very comforting. It's very comforting to like have this vision of a double cheeseburger. You know exactly what's coming out, those little tiny onions. You know how it's going to taste. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be
okay. Then with that,
boom,
with that line,
same
of thought,
exact thing every time.
Know, then you listen to whatever's on the radio, whatever's served to you. you go to Applebee's. Applebee's instead of the mom and pop Jamaican spot down the street that runs out of patties at 11 a.m. That's a life, but that's a life that I don't want to live. So I'm not a big fan of the chain establishments.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Both have a role, I think. Who are the people that you're excited about, either other Twitch streamers or other DJs, people that you're bringing to Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
the large professors.
I don't want to.
Like,
I don't want to point out any of my peers. Aside from, I'm bringing DJ B, who streams on Twitch under the name of Beezus the DJ. On Twitch, you got to be creative because he couldn't do DJ B because there is a DJ B. I couldn't do Selecta because there is a Selecta.
So what do you do?
Selecta 720. I had to add the 720 for my record store to the name, and because of Twitch, I just made everything Selecta 720. My Instagram, my website, selecta720.com. So yeah, B is my favorite Twitch DJ. That's why I'm bringing him here for my birthday on May 20th at the Thunderbird. And I wanted some representation from the women too. So Miss Her, great DJ out of the DMV, is coming to rock too, alongside my brother Nate, who I've known for 30 plus years.
That's Nate the Fat.
Correct.
Nate the Fat barber.
My former business
He used
partner.
to be my barber.
Yeah, and my former barber, he's just too busy now. And I taught him how to scratch.
Dope.
And in turn, he gave me free haircuts.
You just told me you couldn't teach me how to scratch.
I can teach you how to zigga. I can't teach you how to
just
grab
baby
and
scratch.
flare.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you have that down, Pat. I would hope so.
I do.
Okay. So yeah, he would give me haircuts early on. I had polka dots in my head. I had arrow parts. I had White Knight in the back of my head. There's White Knight again.
Did you have the photo?
They exist somewhere. I had a box. I had my mom give me a perm so I could get a box like MC Search.
I didn't even know you had hair. I've never seen it.
I don't have hair currently. At a point, I had hair, and then I started thinning when I was in my mid-30s. I'm like, yeah. Then I try to conceal it for a bit by putting in this fake powder stuff, and like then I just let it go. So, yeah, here we are now.
I used to let the guys in Miami hit me with the Sharpie marker for the grays.
Right, the
I was
Beijing.
embarrassed
The Beijing.
because I was just starting in med school, and I was older than most of my peers because I'd been a DJ for 8 years.
You're right.
And
they gave you the accentuated hair. Did you go to a Dominican barber?
no,
Okay.
it was a white guy.
Oh, really? And they hit you with
I think everybody else in there was.
Right, and they hit you with the Beijing to enhance the hairline?
Yeah, there was something, some kind of marker.
Beijing is
That's what it's
kind of
called?
like it's kind of like dye
Oh, yeah.
to make your hairline stand out and fill in the blanks too.
Interesting.
Yeah. Barber talk, stock talk, we do it all. We talk about culinary delights, McDonald's versus mom and pop breakfast spots. You know.
I had a good steak last night, Chopino.
Okay. I haven't been there, but I've heard good things.
Bison. It's tasty.
Okay.
So other than Beezus, who else is exciting? I mean, you bring
I don't
out
get to
Large
see-
Pro a lot.
I
right?
have, and he's a friend of mine
Jeff,
over the years.
Large Pro.
I've
Who's
yet to bring out Jeff.
Who
I mean,
excites
I
you?
watch Jeff. I watch Scratch Bastard. I watch all of a bunch of different streams. I don't want to pinpoint any specific Twitch DJ because.
But forget about Twitch. Just like people, like DJs who excite you. Like
Oh yeah, the Jeffs and the Bastards of the world, Cash Money, who does it on Twitch, and he's a big inspiration of mine.
Philly, right?
Philly, yep. Philly is the home of DJs. Him, Cosmic Kev, DJ Ran, Tap Money from Philly, man, Too Tough from the Tough Crew.
Did you used to go to Philly at any point, or you were?
No,
always
I never
stayed
did
here?
actually. No, I've been there a handful of times in my life, but I was more of a New York cat than a Philly cat. But they are the home of legendary DJs. I don't. DJ Spinna is a favorite of mine too. Rich Medina is a great cat, great DJ. So many. I mean, none that I could just rattle off other than my couple that I have.
I saw somebody talking on Twitter, I guess yesterday, about how the Philly fans make you a better DJ. That they will basically just boo you and let you know. If you suck.
They're demanding, and they expect a certain caliber of DJ and over the years. And MC. I mean, probably the greatest living MC right now is from Philly.
You think Black Thought?
Oh, of course. Come on now. Who's touching Tariq?
He's amazing.
Who's touching Tariq?
Living?
Not too many.
I say
Not too many.
Jay-Z easily.
No.
I mean,
Not the same caliber of. Granted, it wasn't a freestyle in the traditional sense, but go back and watch that Funk Master Flex 10-minute explosion. It's
amazing.
Insanity.
No,
It's
he's
insanity.
He's
Just the breath
special.
control alone. The breath control
he's
alone
special.
to rattle that, to have
I
that
met
in,
him in Pittsburgh. I met him in Pittsburgh
sure.
when he was here with Questlove. When they were, do you remember the venue? It's called like the Mardi Gras or something, or
on the south side.
No.
Okay.
Station Square, I think.
Oh,
there
yeah,
used to be this strip of like clubs.
I remember Quest came there and made a comment because that he's never seen Pittsburgh because he made a comment about what's there to do in Pittsburgh but Joe's Crab Shack, because he got he played
he
on
got a bad
the
taste.
South Side and at Station Square. He never came to Shadow Lounge, or he never came to any hoods in Pittsburgh to know the flavor of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He went to the McDonald's of clubs, essentially.
Totally.
Yeah.
That place was pretty boring.
Right.
It wasn't
But
exciting.
those places could afford him.
Yeah.
The neighborhood spots couldn't. So
Yeah,
he for him to make that was kind of a foolish statement to make that assumption that Pittsburgh has nothing going on because you played in close proximity to a Joe's Crab Shack. I mean, but we won't hold him.
I think
for
that was probably Nugget and Zimmy that brought him out, right?
via sponsorship, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
Tiny Giant with Red Bull's help
right,
or
right,
something.
Right.
How did the Soulquarians, like the Neo Soul, Dilla Beats, like connection happen? Was that just the music you gravitated towards, or like?
Yeah, I mean, just the just Dilla and his his non-quantized drum patterns that just the swing and just the off kilter swing and just drew me in, and from there, I got to appreciate D'Angelo and Bilal and Dwele and Music Soul Child and Erica and just all these amazing cats that were like-minded and worked at Electric Lady Studios in New York together. Jimi Hendrix studio on 8th Street. I don't think it's there any longer in the Village, in the West Village in New York. And I think they were working on Voodoo, and they were just all hanging out together, Common, and they became known as a collective, the Soulquarians, just a bunch of like-minded cats that came together and just kind of did impromptu jam sessions that turned out to be full albums. Like, Dilla did the entire Common, Electric Circus, and Electric Circus too,
both.
which is slept on.
Oh, heavily.
Right.
I remember
the.
Let me hear you play the music.
Yeah. That's the joint with Joe. Yeah, I am music.
Day.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. People don't understand that because it wasn't the traditional 4/4.
Incredible.
Right. Yeah,
no, but the beat for that is
crazy.
It's
It's hard to mix out of that one.
And the horn on that.
Oh my goodness, the whole album was slept on. It was ahead of its time.
What key signature is that in?
6, 7. I don't know. It's jazzy, so it could be along that line. But like Water for Chocolate was more traditional boom bap, so to speak. A lot of joints on there, and Dilla, laced that one too. What's the joint? Night Champa. Whew, man.
So do you agree with the Dan Charnas assessment that this was like a complete shift in the way that music existed, that Dilla had created something new?
I didn't read his take, although I own both copies of Dilla Time, but
you got the paperback now.
The paperback,
with
and the
extended
extra,
story about.
But I have yet to crack either open, which is crazy. It's just my life is too zany right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it didn't exist. That swing did not exist pre-Dilla. So if that's what he's saying, yeah, that's a given.
He talks about Funky Drummer and James Brown.
Right, but that was kind of,
like
the Clyde Stubblefield was still, but he was still in the pocket. Like it wasn't, so.
Not exactly the same.
Right.
And now that everybody's doing that, there's probably a plug-in on
I would imagine
Ableton
so.
Where you can just
you're talking out of my wheelhouse completely, but I just know how
good.
it makes me feel, like a guttural feeling. I don't know about
the way it's
technology
made.
Now at all. No. I know what quantization. Yeah, I know what it means.
Do you feel like Kendrick is the descendant of that sound? A lot of people think that maybe he was like the next
lyrically.
No. Like
he doesn't do his own production. So you mean his producers?
The music that he was rapping over.
I mean, I like To Pimp Butterfly. Bilal was on there, so some of the same artists. But just for that project, I don't think Kendrick traditionally is known for that sound, but that project was very niche in that it was kind of played like a spoken word album.
Mm-hmm. How they had the poem throughout,
correct,
the whole thing,
interspersed throughout.
Mm-hmm. The Detroit scene, were you ever pulled in that direction at all by like the fact that Dilla was there making music?
I mean, I got to learn about his peers, Wajid, Amp Fiddler. Well, Amp Fiddler is much older. Amp Fiddler taught him the MPC. Black Milk I love. Who else? Elzai is also from Detroit. He took over in Slum Village when Batin passed. We still have T3 is the lone
There's
member.
Only one member of Slum Village left?
Because it was just T3, Batin, and Dilla originally.
But they changed, like they added
another cat.
Elzai
was added on, and someone
okay,
else,
okay.
RJ, maybe I forget the other cat's name, but T3 is the only living member.
And Batin was
correct. He
got
passed
sick
too.
and died. The crews that were exciting to me at the time were like Binary Star,
right?
Masters of the Universe,
right?
Sanam Silla, One Below.
You're getting a little too nerdy for me now.
Yeah. Really?
A little bit, just a little bit. That is my story.
Good story.
I'm a hip hop icon, baby. No, I don't know about that. I'm something.
You're
an enigma wrapped in a mystery. What's the same?
Enigma wrapped in a mystery.
In a puzzle somewhere. Okay.
You're the most soulful Jewish white boy from Squirrel Hill that ever existed.
Yeah, Mac Miller was from Point Breeze, I believe. So, yeah.
He wasn't as soulful as you. He was a great rapper, but not quite.
I'm just taking it all in. Thank you. Most soulful cat from Squirrel Hill. I'll be that. Like Redman Reggie Noble said.
White Jewish cat.
White Jewish cat. Yeah. I'll be that for sure. Thanks for having me on Croc Mode, baby. Croc Mode. I almost wore my Crocs today.
That would have
I
been
decided to leave them at home.
great. You have a pair?
I do not.
Okay,
But
you're
as a
messing around.
medical doctor, you probably have
I
similar
I had
comfy.
an orange pair
Okay.
before I was doctoring.
Wow.
They were like the solid orange.
Do you have the male version of Uggs too?
No Uggs.
Okay. No Uggs.
I don't
Okay.
even have boots.
Okay.
I made it through this whole winter in Pittsburgh with no boots.
I've never owned a pair of boots. I'm not a Timbo type of dude.
Yeah, you look good
Yeah.
in Timbos though.
I think so.
With
I
the
have
hats,
the
you got
right.
the hats and the jeans. And
Rest in power to the Ace Hotel. I got the Ace Hotel hat on right now.
how is Ace Hotel gone? That was like
Yeah.
gentrifier,
Poor,
prime gentrifier.
poor.
Were they
something.
downtown?
They were in East Liberty.
So
Yeah, took
yeah,
over the
gentrifier, I
YMCA.
remember. Oof.
Yeah.
People were pissed.
Well, no, it was closed for years. The same dwelling.
Uh,
Rehabbed it, and now it's just now it's a motel where you don't check in. You just get a code, and there's no human interaction. You get a code, you go in, and you stay. Like a hostel/hotel.
oh, that's interesting.
There you go, Pittsburgh folks. We are not sponsored by the hotel formerly known as Ace Hotel. We are
the
just
robot
here.
hotel.
Exactly. Word to Rosie Jetson, baby.
Right. The
Yeah.
meet George Jetson.
Yes.
You play videos too sometimes.
I do. Yeah, I incorporate videos. I think that's important. You don't want to look at my face all day, so it's a way for me to get off screen and then bring a new visual element to my Twitch stream. So I play a lot of videos that you have seen in the past and some you have not seen.
But the time that it takes to collect those videos.
Oh, it's insanity.
space.
It's insanity.
How
I
mu-
mean, that's a 4
how much
terabyte
video do you
SSD right here. It's insane. I mean, you would think they take up a lot of space. So if 720 video, maybe it's like 30 or so.
Do you have terabytes of videos?
I do on my
Oof.
streaming computer. Yeah,
Oof.
yeah. It's a lot of work. I do birthday tributes on my Twitch, and today I did Shaka Khan. I did 3.5 hours of her performing live on video, samples, interpolations,
Wow.
cover songs,
Wow.
originals. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And finding all that like archival footage.
It's
you're,
insane.
like,
It's insane. Yeah,
doing-
the night before is crazy. I don't willy nilly my Twitch show. I don't want to go on there and just play records.
where do the
with no rhyme
streams
or
go?
reason.
Like where do they end up?
They end up on a platform called Restream for 15 days. But I don't download most of them. The streams
They
are
just
real. They're real
disappear?
time. Yeah, if you miss them, you miss them. It's not like I even save them because I'm talking throughout. So it's not like you want to hear me get talking and give shout outs.
But
to
you
people.
could have a separate recording without the mic.
Correct. The only issue with that, and I've explored that before, is I don't always want to talk over music. So I can choose to not record with the mic, but then you would hear dead air throughout, and I'd
Spaces
have to
and
go in and
things.
edit every single moment of dead air. And
Yeah.
I have no interest. So basically, I tell people, if you miss the stream,
That's it.
it's one and done. I do a replay every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on my Twitch channel, and it's usually the replay from the day before, Friday. But yeah, if you miss it, you miss it. You're ass out. You are ass out.
There's something beautiful about that. It's
Right.
ephemeral.
It is
It's-
ephemeral.
You
Yeah.
you can be there or be square.
He will show up late, and I'm sorry, you can't do it. If you want to go elsewhere and watch someone else while I'm on, you just missed it. So, but a more organized me would download every stream, both audio and video, and have it stored on some sort of server. But, they're not perfect mixes. I'm DJing live, and there's, flaws and shout-outs and nothing I'm really interested in saving. I'll make a
Do you
a mix for
release
that.
mixes? Like
I do on occasion, yeah.
some-
I record live sets.
yeah.
The problem is recording live sets. It's great at the beginning when folks are just filtering in, but then I don't want to put a live set of me playing party rockers.
Right.
So when people come in, I actually get upset if I'm recording. Like, damn, now I gotta play basic ass music.
it goes on Mixcloud or
It goes on SoundCloud.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
SoundCloud, I guess they'll tolerate it as long as it's not too commercial. Like you
Yeah,
can
so
keep stuff
far,
like
yeah, I
that as
haven't
long
had
as
any
it's
issues. Mixcloud, I've had issues with in the past, but not SoundCloud. SoundCloud's
Huh.
been great. Maybe because I pay them. I don't know.
not-
But yeah, I have. It's hard to get SoundCloud followers. I feel great having 2,500 or so on SoundCloud. I think it's quite an accomplishment. And I was putting on my radio shows. I used to be on WIEP, as you well know,
Yeah,
for
that was
years.
amazing.
from 2014 and 2022 when
Grand
I
Groove
quit
Radio.
Grand Groove. So all my radio shows still exist, my
Okay.
YEP shows. And
Are they on SoundCloud?
They are on SoundCloud. That's different.
Download those.
You can't
things.
download them though. Just streaming.
You can.
Just stream. No, I can download them. No,
That's
I
what
can
I'm
download
saying.
them. I'm saying but I have them.
Save all that stuff.
No, I have that.
Because I lost my SoundCloud. I lost.
Oh yeah.
So
oh
much
yeah.
music.
I have all of that.
Now I have to ask friends for my own.
No, I have
tunes.
that. Yeah, I have that. Yeah. So you had a 3 strikes. You're out.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're right. They only really hit commercial mixes. I don't think they're too. They did hit me for one mix. I did a Steely Dan tribute, and it doesn't exist on SoundCloud. So 1 strike, oddly enough. But okay, so they hit me for 2, Steely Dan and Prince, which makes sense.
You have 2 strikes right now, and you're just living on the edge.
They fall off.
Oh, nice. All right.
It's weird though.
Yeah.
Mixcloud allowed my Prince tributes.
Of course.
But
Mixcloud
not
is
SoundCloud.
clean. Mixcloud, you can play whatever you
No,
want.
Mixcloud has rules. Someone just posted it too. Mixcloud has rules too, where you can't play more than 3 songs.
Oh, it's just like the radio.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right. So yeah. Sorry, there was a little mini earthquake here. Apologize. 2.1 on the Richter.
3.5.
Erykah Badu and On, when she ad-libs, damn, you feel that? You know that part?
Yeah, I
that was
remember you said
actually...
that. She was in the studio,
yeah,
and there was an earthquake.
Yeah, so...
You said that when you were teaching us about Twitch.
Oh, that's right. I'm being redundant.
It's all right.
Broken record.
These people haven't heard.
Broken record Jimmy.
These people haven't heard.
But it's almost like you think she's saying, damn, you feel that like the bass, but she was talking about an actual earthquake, and they kept it in. The magic of just real-time recording and letting things fly like we're doing tonight.
Like Paul's Boutique.
I'm not a fan. I was so set on License to Ill.
Oh, no.
I know, but I was so hip-hop back then.
Eggman?
But you understand, going from License to Ill to Paul's Boutique was a giant leap, and I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
I
Dust Brothers.
I get it. I get it. Going from New York to LA, I get it. But it wasn't for me yet.
And Stealing.
I have to revisit it. Rhymin' and Stealing was not on Paul's Boutique.
Okay.
That was on License to Ill,
along
with Paul Revere and and the new style. Let Me Clear My Throat and so.
But that stuff is not as incredible as the stuff.
To me, but to me, it was more along the lines of traditional hip hop.
Yeah. It's
whereas Paul's Boutique is kind of has it's a heavily sampled album that pulls from multiple genres, which I just wasn't ready for at the time.
But are you ready
I like
now?
Check Your Head. I have to revisit it. I don't know Paul's
Ill
Boutique.
Communication is also
It's great too.
amazing.
Right.
But it's all distorted. They rap through like cardioid mics and it's just like
you got to understand I grew up on License to Ill.
Yeah.
So I grew up with No Sleep Till Brooklyn and Time to Get Ill, and that was just that's my era. So that and Paul Revere was played in every hood across the country.
The reverse snare.
Oh, the reverse everything. yeah. Produced by I think that beat was originally intended for Run DMC. Rick Rubin did that one, and
it's amazing.
Slow and Low was originally intended for Run DMC. I have a version of Slow and Low that Run DMC did prior to the Beastie Boys doing.
Primo or on team Let's Ill with the Creator?
Team Pete Rock. That's a hard one. Probably Primo more so than Pete Rock, and then probably Large Pro more so than both of them. And then Diamond D and Spinna.
Where's Dilla land?
Oh, Dilla's in there too. Yeah, Dilla's
in the mix.
He's definitely in the mix, but Premier probably first, and then Pete. Or Large Pro first, then Premier, then Pete Rock, Dilla, Diamond, Spinna, Buck Wild. It's great. It's great too.
What about this amazing producer that used to DJ the All 45 night?
45 King? Who?
Nope.
Oh.
He used to play the All 45s. His name's Just Blaze. He used to play the 45 night.
Just Blaze is good. Is good. He's a little younger, so he's not. Yeah, Just Blaze is great.
At Mobile Mondays.
Oh yeah, he did. He did one of my favorite tracks ever, Exhibit C by Jay Electronica, and all the stuff for Jay-Z and all the 2000s era hip hop. Just Blaze is amazing. Not in my top 5, but certainly in my top 10 for sure.
Was Jay Electronica the one who got lost, or no?
Got lost?
Yeah, there was like a rapper who just disappeared for a while.
Jay Electronica is crazy. I'm not sure he got lost. He's yet to put out a proper album with just him. He put out an album, written testimony with him and Jay-Z, and everyone's disappointed because Jay's on every track. But took him like 10, 15 years to put it out too. But I'm not sure he was lost.
No, I can't remember the name of this rapper, But he was like, he just disappeared to Europe for a while, and then people recently found him.
Oh yeah, I'm not quite sure.
I'll put it in the thing.
In the comments below. They always say that on YouTube. Make sure to check the comments below.
Selecta.
Yes.
So appreciative of your time. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, that was really fun. We'll have to have you back.
I had a blast. Next time, I expect at least a stevia beverage.
No, we don't do sugar.
Not the Bellevue.
I'm a faster. I do it faster than the average man.
Is that a selling point? To do it faster than the average?
I fast like Passover.
Okay. Is that a rhyme?
Fast like Yom Kippur.
Okay. All right. Thanks for having me on Croc Mode. I appreciate the love and the opportunity and the engagement, and peace and blessings. Oh, man. Croc Mode, baby.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was great.